Morning. Here it is. Good morning, everyone. Then let's immediately invite our speakers to the stage, at least those who are joining us here in presence. So I invite to join me Jakob Christoph, Secretary General at CIPES. Giuseppe Iacono, Digital Transformation Expert and Coordinator of Repubblica Digitale. Fiona Fanning, Director of European Affairs at Certiport. And Peter Naske, Consultant in Digital and Czech Recovery and Resilience Plan. And thank you very much. And if the technology will support us, we also have with us online Rui Grillo, Director of Western European Education Sector, Microsoft.
Hello, good morning.
And Social Innovation and Digital Inclusion at the University of Dortmund. And they should appear at a certain point there. Right, very good.
Good morning.
Well, thank you very much. We reach to the next generation. This is the big question that we're going to ask to the members of our advisory board, who I actually want firstly to greatly thank for joining in particular, and also for the support you are giving us to achieve our strategic goals during the year. I would suggest to start with a round of introduction, maybe focusing on what these are playing in your professional life and why is it relevant for you to be member of our advisory board. So maybe as I called you for joining us in the stage, Jakob, if you want to start.
I'm working. One of my favorite bands, music bands that I like is the old band called The Police, and they were in 1981 they released the album Ghost in the Machine, and there was a song there, Spirits in the Material World. And right now I would convert a little bit of those lyrics, that we are human beings in a digital world. So I'm not exception. I'm a human being in a digital world, and wherever I touch, I'm being affected by the digital world. I'm affected it by number of ways, professionally, but also personally. I'm a Polish person who lives in Ireland. Therefore, to keep the contact with all my friends, I do need to stay digital almost all the time. But more relevant professionally, it is that I am Secretary General of CIPES, the organizations that associates computer societies of Europe. And ICT professionalism is very much in the center of our interests as the organizations. And we know that to create this pool of ICT professionals and to reach those very ambitious goals that were mentioned earlier, for example by Foye in his opening speech, we do need to have a solid base, and this solid base wouldn't really happen without the very decent or more than decent level of digital skills among the population. Therefore, it has always been the center of the computer societies of Europe to improve the level of the digital skills by promoting the education, promoting the certifications of digital skills on the highest possible level across Europe. And it is a challenge for me, representing our members, the CP's members, to bring the the issues of ICT professionalism and challenges that ICT profession is facing at the moment with the wider community. Therefore, it is my huge honor and the great pleasure to be involved in our movement of All Digital, because I feel very much a part of it, to bring this point of ICT professionalism and higher skills into the agenda.
Thank you very much. Nello, if you want to introduce yourself and your point of view.
Thanks. Maybe the reason for why I am interested in digital skills, digital transformation, is that digital skills in Italy are considered very very low, and it's the problem is not very considered, and it's not very focused as an important problem for our future, for the future, and maybe the situation where half of digital skill is another push for me to be interested in the in this problem. And so if from several years in private sector and in public sector and in association, I was involved in digital skills problems, and in Rome we also established the Punti Roma Facile. There are facilitation, digital facilitation centers for people, just to help them to have the possibility to use digital service and the digital in as for their and I think another problem is about the digital culture in our manager, in our managers, in the management, in policy, and in private sector. So I think that one other a problem is about the what I think is can be called e-leadership, and so I think that e-leadership and digital skills for and digital culture are very important. So I'm teaching and also working in that. Actually, I was in the Department for Digital Transformation in Italy, working on digital skills. I'm a coordinator of the National Coalition for Digital Skills, and we are carrying two important projects for digital skills, and to have 3,000 digital facilitation points in all the territory in Italy, and maybe this can be an important step to have all the people or digital skilled people in Italy. And I think that all digital is the most important European community for pushing the countries and also the people in this important problem. So I very happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Nello. Then IT professionals, civil society in general, certification, something that tackles transversal all these levels. So Fiona, if you want to introduce yourself and Certiport.
I will. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll try and answer your questions, but I have this song that's running around in my head. So thank you for having me here. So your question around the personal aspects, so what digital skills and the acquisition of digital skills means to me personally. I am a mum of 2 young kids, a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I would describe them as digital junkies. So once they see a screen, they just get sucked in and all of their judgment and goes out the window. And you finally worry about how they will interact in the labor market and how they will acquire the skills to adopt digital in a responsible manner in their lives. In my professional life, I represent Certiport. So Certiport is a skilling and certification organization. Our mission is about adding life to a lifetime of learning, and it's about ensuring people can succeed through certification. So we do a bunch of things. We provide learning materials and practice tests and certification exams. We have a huge portfolio of skills. So from the very kind of basic digital skills right the way up to entry-level IT pro skills, and we cover everything in between. So, you know, think about office productivity skills, think about digital design and creative skills, AR, VR skills, skills for educators, AI, data science, cloud computing, cybersecurity, you name it, we have it in our portfolio. We also complement that with some of what's called the non-cognitive skills, and I don't love that term, but it's things like communication, it's things like entrepreneurship, the softer skills that are also needed. We work with industry partners like Microsoft, like Adobe, like Cisco, and we also produce vendor-neutral programs as well. We couldn't do any of this without our fabulous network of partners. In each country, we have partners, we have testing centers, many of them are here today, and they are absolutely key in bringing our programs to the world. And this is also ties into, you know, my role on the All Digital board. I think that, you know, I've been a member of the board for many years, back to when it was telecenters. And I believe that our networks can be stronger together. So we have programs and certifications that can basically expand the offer of many of All Digital members. And, you know, All Digital members have demonstrated such impressive commitment and determination to engage with their target audiences and to upskill them. And yet that capstone of certification is missing in many cases. We would, you know, love to cooperate with All Digital partners in that respect. So for those of you who are interested in learning more practically what collaboration and cooperation could mean, I would ask Arik to stand up. So I have here the Director of Education, who's also responsible for our network of partners. And I'd invite you to go and attend. I'm going to plug his lightning talk later today that will go into lots of detail of what, you know, practical opportunities there are to integrate certification, adopt new programs, and work together in that respect.
Thank you very much. Peter, then what's the point of view from the Czech Digital Coalition?
Thank you for the invitation. I'm a teacher for 17 years. I teach computer science every week for 1 day as a part-time. So it's my mainly something that I can give advisory board with, because this was your question. And I work also in Czech Republic for National Institute of Pedagogical Institute of the Czech Republic. We are a part of the Ministry of Education, and we are working all projects about Czech teachers and Czech digital education, and the main point of view and I see that the teachers, we must give them a brave and a to start digital transformation. So that's why I am working on some projects where we are building community of practice of teachers. I am a supervisor of these communities. So we work every month on small meetings of teachers, and we are talking about how to use Canva in education, how to push AI tools in your classrooms. And my big experience, because I was studying to be a teacher of computer science 20 years ago, and it's all old words, and I must every day make new things to invent. My main question for this panel discussion is how to push parents, and I have also three children, and yeah, it was a good question that you pose. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. And I will say that peer learning community of practice is really one of the best strategies to have this continuous training for teachers, but for professionals. And we do have two community of practices in our digital, one on DigiComp and one on digital certificates, that you may want to discover if you are not just already part of it. But before passing to the key questions, I think we have some guests online for sure. I see Rui Grillo. Can you hear me?
Yes, Altheo, I can hear you.
Hi, good morning. So,
good morning.
Please introduce yourself.
Well, my name is Rui Grillo. As you've said, I have the pleasure of directing Microsoft's action on education across the Western Europe countries, and working across our teams that are present in all countries in order to make sure that we enable schools and universities and citizens to use technology in an inclusive and responsible way. And I think that is what makes it more important than ever to be part of an event like this and be part of the advisory board of All Digital, because I think that we are at a pivotal moment in which the potential of the technology that it is available to any person is immense, and that creates a lot of enthusiasm, but also some risk, because people need to understand how they can use it to unleash that potential in a responsible way, in a way that is productive, in a way that helps us train this new generation that is now in school or in college or in university to use these tools to take our human potential and our human development to a next level, and avoiding the pitfalls that a bad use of technology can take. And being in this balance between having not holding us back from using the best tools that we have to expand our capacity to act on the world on a positive way, on the one hand, but on the other hand, being aware of potential risks so that we can tackle them, and through a sound policy, be able to guide that usage in a positive way. So our goal is to contribute to that with our products, with our skilling and our learning offers, through partnerships. Like Fiona mentioned, Certiport is a very important partner for us in order to make sure that the certification and the skilling happens across the board. And so working in partnership with educators and students and institutions in order to have a positive contribution for this. It's our main goal.
Thank you very much, Rui. Thanks again for all the support they always contribute to our events during the year. I don't see Christoph, which is probably not here, or maybe yes.
He's here. I don't know if you can
okay, hear me. Now we see you. Hi.
You see me. That's good. Hi, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. First of all, sorry for not being able to join you in person in Zagreb. I really would have liked to, but I'm equally thankful, on the other hand, for that you invited me. and happy to be here remotely, at least. Yeah, my name is Christoph Kaletka. I'm an innovation researcher at TU Dortmund University. And a special topic of mine, it's not really a surprise for you, is digital inclusion, because innovation research on the one hand and digital inclusion research on the other hand, they share a lot of topics and they are heavily interconnected. For example, the question of how do we construct learning spaces? How do we construct innovation spaces to be productive? What competences do we need to run such spaces? What are the best facilitation techniques to bring different people together? What are ways to scale good practice? This is important for innovations, especially social innovations on the one hand, and also for better solutions for digital inclusion on the other hand. So I think in the beginning you asked why we, or in this case, why I am a member of the advisory board. I think it's just important to let everyone participate in a digital society, and the people who have been speaking before me have made really excellent points. I think this challenge of letting everyone participate is really where digital inclusion on the one hand and social innovation on the other hand are both needed to make progress from a scientific perspective. I think technology is not the problem. It's about the social practices and the new solutions to deal and manage the ever-changing technologies, which are really the key. And I personally consider I would say the transdisciplinary element of my research very important. So being part of society as a researcher is very crucial for me. And this is what brought me to All Digital, or back then Telecenter Europe, many years ago. And I'm still happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Christoph. We are very glad that you are still member of the All Digital Advisory Board and has all the other members. We have also another contribution, actually a recorded video from someone who is supporting us in a way, like similar way to what you are doing, from another point of view. So if we are ready, I would welcome Victor Negresco, member of the European Parliament, with his message.
First of all, I want to congratulate you for organizing this debate on the skills for the future. We are in the European Year for Skills, and we need to reflect on this important topic. What are the skills that people need in the future, and what can Europe do in order to face those challenges? We have decided together at European regards to digital skills. But if we look at all analysis, we need in the future a complex set of skills. We need to develop creativity, we need to develop capacities in solving problems, we need also extensive and specialized technological training, but also we need to develop social skills. So many different types of competencies that are needed for the future. In the same time, people have to understand and use actively artificial intelligence and robotics in their daily job. Of course, there isn't a perfect solution, but in order to reach those ambitious targets, we need to develop a strong and efficient ecosystem, have an extensive partnership between the public and the private sector, actively involve the local administrations, but also NGOs in the process. We need to make sure we do not leave anyone behind. We have to have an inclusive process in order to achieve this upskilling of Europeans across member states. This is not an easy to reach objective. Therefore, I have tried in my capacity as a member of the European Parliament to tell everyone, but also influence the European decision making in order to make sure that we understand that the quality of the process is also important. We have to look at the details. We have to see how we can do that. We have to plan for things into details, but also have to make sure that we have a grassroots approach. I'm confident that debates like the one that you are organizing today can really help in building the process, in achieving those ambitious targets. So I expect from the experts that are attending the meeting to come up with those solutions that we can promote at European level in the decision-making process. We have funds available. We have people that are willing to get engaged. We have also examples in different member states. We need to put all those energies together and, of course, try to identify the best solutions to move forward and achieve it. So again, congratulations for this debate, and please do count on my full availability to work together with you in making sure that Europe doesn't miss this opportunity, but also at the end, all Europeans will have the possibility, the opportunity to achieve their personal and professional goals by getting access to the skills and, of course, to the trainings that they want in order to achieve those objectives that they have for themselves in the future. Thank you so much, and good luck for your conference.
First of all, I want to congratulate
this, I would say, dedication was actually what really was approached by the staff in one of the conferences here, actually in Croatia, some years ago, and I'm really glad I had the opportunity to also join a big part of the journey of digital inclusiveness at All Digital, starting from Telecenter Europe, then passing to the concept of digital competence center, and in our last strategy actually enlarging the scope to anyone who is involved in the promotion and provision of digital skills and competences. So this is what digital inclusion is about, digital, trying to provide capacity building, advocacy, networking opportunities like we're doing today, in order to really react timely and, let's say, positively to the needs and demands of the private and the public sector in terms of provision of digital skills. So my question to open the discussion is, we already listened about educational drivers. So what are the key educational drivers, in your opinion, to support the next generation of people living in Europe, not just Europeans, to build a digital inclusive Europe? Here, if you allow me, I will open the floor first to our colleagues online, just to give them the opportunity to speak. Please.
Yeah, if I may, I see I am on your screen in Zagreb, so maybe I can start. First of all, from an innovation perspective, building a digitally inclusive Europe is a wicked societal challenge. Wicked in this case means that it's both complex and changing over time. So every time you may think you have solved the problem to some degree, the problem itself has changed. And I think the rise of artificial intelligence is just one example of the new challenges we see for providing digital inclusion. So what are the educational drivers and what kind of next generation people and educators do we need? I think we need a next generation of problem solvers. We need a next generation of innovators. We need educational programs which provide the basis to empower young people to act as innovators and problem solvers. And I think it's important to see that we need those people from all societal sectors. We need them in government, we need them in the traditional economy, we need them in civil society, and we also need them in academia. And how can we approach this? We have to learn about digitalization not as a technological but as a social process. We have to help young people learn about collaboration, about co-creation processes, and about the need to form cross-sector alliances. I think this is also what All Digital has been doing in the recent years very successfully. And the need to have cross-sector alliances is not only something I'm advocating, but it's also an empirical fact. We see it when we compare successful initiatives, that they often include actors from different societal sectors and different logics. And this is, of course, difficult. But managing these alliances is very important. We have to include innovation and specifically social innovation topics in a wide range of curricula for the next generation. We need those topics in bachelor and master curricula. We need them in vocational training and in further education. And I think we have to understand ourselves that supporting and hindering factors for digital inclusion are different in different settings. So someone already mentioned the notion of the ecosystem. I think we have to understand that solutions require different actions in Zagreb, in Dortmund, in Milan, or in some rural areas, wherever they are. I think this is very important. And a second and shorter point, we also need professionals in the, let's say, still digitally averse to some degree social economy, which have to be, or who have to be digitally equipped and more competent to support their clients. I think this is very important, and we need intervention and further digitalization of those organizations supporting the excluded people. Yeah, that's my initial remark. I'm looking forward to what the colleagues on the panel are going to say.
Thank you very much, Christoph. Ask maybe Roy if you want to react so that we also give you the opportunity since you're online.
Thank you, Altheo, and I do agree with what Christoph just said. I think that we are at a pivotal moment, and the new tools that are becoming available press the challenge of inclusion for Europe and for the whole world, and it is critical for us, in my opinion, that we are able to harness this potential of the technology in a way that builds on top of strong foundational skills. So I think that the key driver, the key challenge that we have is blending the key foundational skills and the capacity to develop critical thinking, to engage with information that is processed or delivered by technology in a responsible way. Because the worst thing that can happen is for us to ignore the availability of these tools during the formal education process, leaving that usage to happen outside of the education process without the proper context. And the big risk that I see is that if we don't understand the technology, we can take for granted as true something that the technology gives to us. So we need to be able to engage critically with whatever answer an artificial intelligence model gives us, with whatever result a simple query or search produces. And that capacity to engage critically with the information is of the utmost importance, because that's what brings the capacity for us as human beings to take the benefit from having access to all of those insights, all of that information, all of that capacity to understand our world. So I've been also following with some concern the way in which sometimes we focus the discussion on what is physical. There are some countries where there is a discussion on whether mobile phones should be allowed in schools, or if textbooks work better in paper or in digital formats. And I think that we need to be able to avoid falling into the trap of confusing the medium with how it is used. And I think that we need to be able to look at technology and guide it to be used responsibly, without trying to create an island where technology is not present. When this next generation goes into the workforce, they will need to use technology in order to be productive. And at that point, it will be critical, for instance, to be able to have the right prompts to refine the answers that technology can help provide to deliver work tasks. And I believe that it is also a task of us, of all of us, to contribute that the next generation is able to understand how these new technologies that become available and the existing ones work in ways that this new generation is able to engage critically with whatever answers they obtain, so that technology is a driver for development and driver for growth, so that we can fulfill more of our potential as human beings.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. And what about here on stage, Fiona? I see you're holding the microphone, so maybe.
Thank you. These are not easy questions you're asking of us. For me, the key word in this is integration. Integrated education. And by that, let me explain my thinking. So for a long time, education has existed in this kind of students sit in rows and they learn stuff by rote and they remember stuff, and then they repeat what they've learned in an exam and they get a qualification, and everything they learn is just in case they're going to need it. And so we have been educating our students to remember the things that we're telling them, to regurgitate or recite it back to us for the time that maybe in the future they will at some point need it. And in the past, this has made so much sense because knowledge has been less accessible. And so, you know, people would have to learn things in case they need it. But now we're in a very different world. We're in the age of Google, where you can, you know, research anything online. We have ChatGPT, AI, and all the world literally at our fingertips and in our pockets. So knowing stuff in the traditional education model isn't as valuable as it used to be. And the modern world and employment, we're no longer rewarded in the way we used to be for having this knowledge. The focus is moving to what we can show, what we can demonstrate, we can do with the knowledge we have. So how we take knowledge and extrapolate that and demonstrate it in the form of skills. And this is, you know, moving from what is the old model of just new model, which is just-in-time learning. And it's smaller units and critically of more kind of world-relevant units of education. So Andreas Schleicher, which I think everybody knows here from the OECD, did some research on this and did it as moving based certification system in education to a knowledge and skill system in education. So it's about what people can actually do and show they can do. Now, for those of us who are involved in certification, this is, of course, really good news. And there's a great example of how this integrated model can work in a European project. So it's called Digital for Business. And it is 12 countries in Europe who are working together to create a master's level program that teaches AI skills, but lots of other, key skills as well. It integrates the academic content with certification and the industry needs. So you really have the partners working together to create practical, real-world education program. And there's lots of cool things they're doing in terms of the modalities of how this is delivered as well, that kind of speaks to the modern world. For me, it's integrating, bring real-world skills into the classroom to solve real-world problems, bring education closer to the labor market. So it's integration of skill-based certifications and real-world learning, is what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there anyone who wants to?
If I may, I was saying about the value of the integrations and integration of technology into the education system, or adapting education system to focus on the integration and as a central piece. But I just would like to add to it that this integration needs to happen having the student as a centerpiece. Needs to be the student's need to be the priority, not the effectiveness of the system per se for the administrative or operational purposes, but the human being needs to be in the very center of any changes that we would need to do. And I'm talking both about students and also teachers, because the last thing, and because of the reasons that Fiona mentioned, the last thing that we would like to do is to add to the curriculum, add another set of skills or set of knowledge items that should be taught, because I think many teachers are already overwhelmed. Adding to the curriculum new positions, it's not gonna be it's not going to change anything. It's going to be completely ineffective. And also having a human being in mind, I think I'd like to come back to what Mislav said in his morning presentation. He mentioned in one of the last slides that is extremely important for a student to pick the right qualifications or the right degree for the future. I would even go a little bit further, and I would say that it's important for every young person to understand how to build their skill set and the competence set, not necessarily following traditional model of primary college and university degree, but their skill set in the view of the career they would like to have, in the sense of building with the micro credits, building with the various certifications, with also spending some time of increasing their soft skills, being able to spend some time to foster their own creativity. I think that to move away from thinking about the system per se and start explore how we can unique abilities and their unique ambitions.
Thank you. Please, Nello.
I agree with our panelists, and some. I think that we are in the on-life society. A complete integration from online and offline with the digital is pervasive, is in our everyday life, also in our work. And I think that this means that education about digital, about technology is just a piece of the basic education. Is must to be integrated in the basic education, and in this way we can to have a critical way of approaching the technology. But another I think another thing that in this means that in schools we have to have a education, and we want maybe have the innovative process in school and in learning process. So we have to do in schools, so in general in education, a way where exploring the gaming and the collaboration became the real important education. But exploration, collaboration, and gaming means that we cannot think to the education only in school or in institutions. We have to think about on having centers and also spaces in cities, in our country, in our countries where young people also together with adult people can explore and experiment the technology is no matter of specialist of technology scientist, but begin to become a piece of our knowledge of a common knowledge of a society, society, and this is the maybe the problem. Is we have to support the next generation if we can support understanding the change where we are, that the society is changing, and the education model is to be changed, but all common sense and knowledge and the knowledge of all the society have to change, because the can be dystopic otherwise, and we can have society where philosophy became important, or became can be an alternative to the that many people can follow.
Thank you. And there is a very good experience of what you're telling in the Basque Country. We have members here in the network, so maybe you can approach them later. Peter, please.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. My three factors about digital inclusivity, I try to be more concrete. And it's great that you mentioned the point of view of student-centered approach. And I would like to talk about educators and teachers, because I think that there are three problems. One is not so much time to be in touch in technologies and to try the new things. Second is that we are not so brave to realize pair learning with our children and with students, that we as a teachers, we would like to be the best in the classroom, and in the field of technologies sometimes the children are more friendly with. And the third thing, we are working in our community of practice with SAMR model, if you know it, summer model about technologies in education. It's about talking with the people about additional value of technologies, because normally flip chart, talking about use whiteboard or use computer or tablet, and but mostly if we are now talking about artificial intelligence and these new innovations, the people at schools and also in informal and informal education, they think that we must be good, but we must think critically and every day make critical thinking about additional value of technologies. So in our community of practice, is a good practice to give time for people, for teachers to think about additional value of concrete technology. They must have time, and there is no possibility that government or state tell us teachers, okay, you must use these technologies. So we must have a time, and it's that's a problem, because teachers don't have time. They solve in the classrooms basic problems, social problems in families, etc. So I wish to teachers to have more time for professional development. I recommend to governments to think about time of the work time of teachers, and also to say to our children, help us with technologies. So yeah.
Very good. Well, a lot of from the members of our advisory board, and really a ground for continuing discussing during these 2 days of a summit here in Zagreb. I know we are running a little bit late, and I'm sure that we have to share some logistic information before the coffee break, but we actually already anticipated a trick our guests. We asked them to think out of the box and imagine, trying to be visionary, and think about a possible title of a training course at any level that could be offered in 25 years' time. So very hard, probably, but maybe we can have just a closing round with your suggestions. Peter, you want to kick off?
Yeah, I can shortly, my course has name how to more touch your children and not so often touch your mobile phone and technologies. Because the digital parenting and what does it technology problem yeah, that's my name, of course.
Thank you very much. Fiona.
Thank you. So I think the capacity and the motivation for lifelong and continuous learning is going to be absolutely key. We're still going to have and need the state-of-the-art technical skills and AI and all of that, but it comes back to human. So we need to keep being human, and we will need to excel in the thing. For the title of what I think will be important is cognitive flexibility, how to learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Fantastic. Jakob.
Maybe a little bit surprisingly, I thought about a potential title of the course in history that in 25 years may be taught as a historical knowledge. And the title, I would say, role of teacher, the job that precursed the learner's guide. What I basically said that the word teachers, including the words teach, and I think the teachers would be doing less and less teaching when it comes, and we might think about even in the semantic terms of the position of those people who are educating the young people, but also to the guides for them in terms of the learning. So that would be my title.
Thank you.
My title is about a training course for teachers. I think that we have teachers that are digital skilled, and the course can be how to make a collaborative video games to teach in the secondary school.
Thank you very much, Nello. And Rui, what's your title and your proposal?
Well, my background, my academic background is in business management and organizational change. So I would create, I would propose in 2048, in 25 years from now, a training course for managers with the title "The Power of Empathy: Managing AI-Assisted Complex Large-Scale Projects with Humans," so that we don't forget that the more powerful technology becomes, the more important it is the human-to-human interaction, the motivation, the capacity to connect and to rally us around common goals.
Great. I think we already start working on the program of this course, most probably. Right, Christoph, you have a title or probably
Sure. But I have to admit that I kind of failed when I prepared the title, because I thought about it, and at the very end, I realized this is not about a training course in 25 years, but this is about a training course starting tomorrow. So forgive me, but the title is System Entrepreneur for Digital Inclusion. What is it? It's a training course to educate people to be in an intermediary position, connecting all stakeholders of an urban society, of a regional society, of a national society, a person who is improving the framework conditions for digital inclusion all over the place. For example, by running a co-creative digital inclusion lab, where the lab is both digitally and analogically constructed, using different innovation techniques like design thinking, innovation canvas, and many more, and a person who also has a mandate and knows how to organize support from all parts of society. This would be my training course, so a system entrepreneur for digital inclusion.
Thank you very much. Well, this is what all digital is about, also trying to have a forward-looking approach, and then I take the chance to thanks again all the participants in this panel, the members of our advisory board, and invite you to approach them in Zagreb or remotely. Thanks a lot.